A few months ago, the meteorological department announced to the nation that we were expecting El Nino. This prompted a very big debate whether, as a country, we were really prepared to deal with the aftermath of the floods that have always rocked our country whenever we have heavy rains. And the Deputy President himself, Rigathi Gachagua, convened a disaster management team and explained to the nation the level of preparedness. And even at the county levels, governors had saved certain amount of money, ostensibly to deal with the situation when it comes. But the information coming from the Kenya Kwanza government is just amorphous. You don't understand it. Because barely after the announcement, as the country was waiting with bated breath, and we could see signs and symptoms that rains were coming, William Ruto announced to the nation that God had listened to our prayers and he had decided to avert the El Nino, and he assured the nation that we would not have the El Nino rains.
Hata juzi mlisikia tukawa na habari pengine kutakuwa na El Nino ambayo itaharibu kule, itaharibu mali ingine, lakini Mungu ni nani? Mmesikia wale watu wamesema tena ile El Nino haitakuweko, wamesema kutakuwa tu na mvua kubwa lakini haitafika pale ya kuharibu. Sisi tunamshukuru Mungu jameni.
Barely after those statements, the disastrous rains started wreaking havoc in our country. And already you can see during the exam period, vehicles overturning, and in some places they are impassable. In some of the places, the exam papers had to be ferried using aeroplanes. And then people were wondering, really, what is really happening with this government? And today, Rigathi Gachagua, in whose docket the level of preparedness lies, called a presser. And in what looked like a forceful declaration, he invited the director of the meteorological department, Mr. David Gikungu. One, to put the record straight, and two, to apologize to the nation.
Before I make the statement, I want to call the director of meteorological department to tell the country what it is, so that then from there we can be able to proceed. Where is the director?
Thank you, Your Excellency. Na hamjambo wananchi. I want to point out that as initially given in the forecast, we have El Nino in this short rain season 2023, and we do apologize for the lack of communication or miscommunication, because that was a big mistake, but we are sorry about that. And moving forward, let's prepare ourselves for the enhanced rainfall as a result of the El Nino phenomenon that we are in at this time. Asanteni.
And this is one thing that is really baffling many Kenyans. Number one, every time there's a problem in the country, William Ruto would invoke the name of God. And I find it very sad that we are playing around with the name of God. Because look, now we have rains, but just like just the other day, William Ruto was telling us that we thank God that there will not be El Nino. We started using the name of God last year during the campaigns. And in some churches, the portrait of William Ruto was there, as they called themselves men of God. They even said that Raila Amolo Odinga and the Azimio group were antichrist and God would not allow them to lead us. But it seems there is this perpetual lies using the name of God, something that I really find very sad, and we should desist from it. And William Ruto should have apologized himself, because he's the one who came up publicly and told us that his God had decided to avert the El Nino rains. For them to invite Mr. Gikungu to apologize, I think it's not good. Just the other day, we were forcing King Charles to apologize to Kenyans, and we took issues that he refused to apologize. Now, the big man himself, the president of Kenya, announced that we won't have El Nino rains. Don't you think it is the same situation? William Ruto should come and say, I talked to God, and God told me that we don't have the El Nino rains, but now God has changed his mind. But even if this information came from the meteorological department, the other question that comes to mind is, how do we now trust such institutions? Because if we cannot, if the information coming from the meteorological department is not true, is not correct, especially on serious matters like rains, because this is what plants, how people, maybe seasons of planting, how people should prepare, especially those who live around vulnerable areas like River Nyando that many times have always overflown and broken the banks. If the information that is coming from this department is not true, how do we trust it? Because I understand that we don't trust the government because of the lies that have been coming from the leadership. But when we extend these lies to some of these departments, I mean, it is unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. And these are departments that are paid heavily using taxpayers' money. Then it means that we are wasting money. Is it that we have not invested on materials and technology that should give us the correct position? What is really happening? Because I really want to understand why the information coming is very contradictory. El Nino is coming, it is not coming, it is there again. You see, it's very confusing. And we don't want to live in a country where we are in a confused state of affairs. The country risks taking the government for granted. Because if all your statements are not honest, then next time you will be, releasing serious statements, and people, as always, will say we'll treat them as very trivial, and the seriousness in it will not be, achieved much, because we know during the campaigns people are hoodwinked, and even today, like yesterday, William Ruto, arranged some fake phone calls to some Kenyans, and he was, telling people how they praised the government, and people are still asking because he was caught lying, including Itumbi was telling us that the president had gone to Ruiru in a construction site, using one vehicle. Then on further scrutiny, you realize that there was a big convoy. And there is that guy, we are told, got about 70 million, is it 70,000 Kenya shillings, and he is unable to buy a tuk-tuk. So some of these things are really escalating to a level where Kenyans no longer trust what the government is saying. But then, why did Rigathi Gachagua wait for William Ruto to correct the situation? Was it trying to at least protect the big man from shame? Because whether he is away or in the country, it is the same thing. He lied to us. Or was Rigathi Gachagua just acting the good man to show the people that, William Ruto is the one who lied, but I want to give you the correct position? Because Rigathi Gachagua, is also another cunning man. He knows very well he's dealing with a cunning president. So many a times when the president is away, he swings into action. I remember the other time when William Ruto was away, Rigathi Gachagua rushed to the UDA headquarters and held a meeting because he was not being consulted about the arrangement of the UDA grassroots elections, and he did it. So whenever the president is away, Rigathi Gachagua has a way of sending a coded message. So maybe this is also another one where he decided that he wants to act, because I've seen Rigathi Gachagua of late, he's not taking chances. So maybe he wanted to take that opportunity to correct the president in a way that will not seem to be very disrespectful. But then, ladies and gentlemen, we need to put the government to task to ensure that whatever is coming from them, whatever is coming from State House, whatever is coming from the several ministries and these departments that are dealing with very vital and serious aspects of life, like rains and droughts, should be very precise, very correct, and very honest. And let them not be sucked into the murky waters of our politics, because those offices are very independent and they are supposed to serve people in all honesty without any politics in it. I don't know what to think, ladies and gentlemen, but that is my take.